What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. I am breaking my long silence because we got to talk about Tesla. Um, I've been taking a break from making these videos because there's a lot of reasons. Some are personal, but as all of you know, I'm the market controller. I control the markets, and so if I put too much info out there, it can kind of skew how the markets work, basically. Kind of shocking that that's the case, that I would be the one, but that's how it is. So yeah, like, welcome to the show. You can comment any questions if you have them. My name is Caleb. I like to say that I'm a retired software engineer. I'm an entrepreneur. No, I can't spell it. I just like to make shit. I like to build things, and I like to, try things out, see what's possible. So I started this channel just to talk about truth and value of the markets. And there's not a lot of truth or value happening right now with Tesla. So let's dive in. I don't have much prepared in terms of material, but I do have a pretty, different take, I think, on what's happening with Tesla than is being presented in the news and the media. So if you watch any of our friends at CNBC, they're going to tell you that Tesla has the worst earnings and Elon Musk is a drug addict and he's out of control. He's smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast. What are these degenerates up to? And so, in my opinion, the media is skewing this. They're trying to create a narrative, right? Somebody is paying for the salaries of these people on CNBC, because I've heard them contradict themselves like a million times, and you got to get paid for that shit. Sorry, guys. So, like, what's going on with Tesla? There's two of my favorite charts right now are NVDA and Tesla. I think NVIDIA is like worth 2 Teslas right now. I think Jensen Huang is an incredible leader, business leader, and entrepreneur, and thinker and innovator in this new age. And the things that he's been building for decades, he's now getting paid for. And I don't want to diminish that at all. Now, the markets pay for earnings, and NVIDIA's earnings have been tremendous. They've been tremendous. Like, it's out of control. I heard a theory, I believe it was from our friends at ARK Invest, that maybe I inferred this theory, so I shouldn't attribute it to them. I'll attribute it to myself, even. If they made it up, I'll take it. But what I'm thinking is happening right now with the NVIDIA story, and this is very, very connected to the Tesla story. So you got to be patient, because these things take time to, figure out. And so what is happening at the NVIDIA story? You have a bunch of different leaders in the industry: TSM, AMD, NVIDIA, all these semiconductors. God, I saw this trade a long time ago. Didn't have cash to buy in at the time for many reasons. And so what nobody, I think, really saw coming, well, I didn't see coming, I don't know that anyone saw this coming, was the impact of generative AI on demand for the exact type of chips that NVIDIA had been processing. And what's crazy is this opens up this entire new landscape for the company to compete, basically with all of the biggest companies in the world. As we see, they've doubled, then doubled, then doubled, right? Like, I've been buying NVIDIA. I think my lowest entry price on NVIDIA was like $40-50. I could look it up. But in the last year, the stock has like doubled multiple times. Why? It's because they are selling these chips because everyone needs LLMs, and those take a lot of processing power, both to train and to operate. And so it turns out they had, like, all the picks and shovels when the gold rush started. And so that is great that they're being rewarded for that. But you have to wonder if there is a buildup in the demand that might not be pulled through into the coming years. nobody is a bigger believer in AI than me. I am astounded by what is possible already in its most nascent form, and know that in the coming years, it will change the world. But arm leg, that stuff is going to take time, to figure out. And so in between that time, what I'm wondering with NVIDIA is if people got a little bit overzealous in terms of their ordering, and they wanted to be prepared for this generative movement, and maybe they are buying more chips than they need. I don't know. Or maybe they're not buying enough. I mean, we need a lot of chips out there, like Tesla training, AI, Apple's entrance into AI. Like, there's going to be a lot of buyers of NVIDIA chips. So I don't really know how to estimate their demand. I don't really know if it's going to fall off a cliff. All I know is that what goes up must come down. Just that's kind of how it goes in life. And so NVIDIA will retrace. I don't know when that's going to happen. But if you look at the stock charts, and I've been piling into Tesla, of course, during this decline, as anyone who knows me knows that I would if I had the capability to do so, and I do, so I am, which is, I'm sorry to say, guys, part of the reason why the price is going so low. I have an effect on these things. I don't know how to quantify it or whatever. You can debate me. You could say it doesn't happen, but I got some strange data to show you. And that's part of what makes this show fun and exciting, is crazy shit like that happens on the show. That's why you should stick around. So what were we talking about? So the NVIDIA story and the Tesla story are very connected. And they have the exact opposite price action for months. And I just know how these gamblers, hedge funds work. Like, the people with the most money can very easily manipulate the market through short selling. That's why it's illegal in different countries. Because what you can do is you can rely on algorithmic trading to do a lot of the work for you. And so what the short sellers do is they break technical levels. And they do that when there is a void of good news. Because if there's no positive price pressure on a stock, it'll just go down instantly. Like, if there's no something has to be driving up the price. There has to always be buyers. And so anytime there's not buyers, the price is automatically going to drop. And what short sellers are going to take advantage of, which has nothing to do with truth or value and is only possible because of their position in the market and is very much a anti-democratic operation, is, but of course they don't care because they get paid. And so what they're going to do is look for these key technical levels, like maybe basically every $5 in Tesla is going to be like a key level. And then they sell the shit out of it. At that fucking level, they just sell the shit out of it. And they just sell all day long. And here's what happens when you sell. It's basically a small miracle. You get a credit. So you could just keep doubling down with that credit. Like, if you sell it, you sold something, you borrowed something to sell it, and you had to have the collateral in your account to do that, and you can get nuked from short selling. I'm not saying there's no risk. I'm just saying you got a credit. So what the fuck are you going to do with that credit? Why not sell more Tesla? Basically the same as double down, but you do it from the top. It's almost like more reliable in that way. And then the whole point would be to trigger algorithms. That's what you want to do. You want to trigger algorithms so that they do the work for you. All you have to do as a short seller is break the technical levels. And that's what's happening with Tesla right now. Now, what are they doing with the credits? If you ask me, they're buying up NVIDIA. I really believe that there are some investors out there. How would I ever know this? It's impossible to know. So it's all speculation. But I believe there's some investors out there that are shorting Tesla and using the credits as premium to buy up NVIDIA, because this price action is exactly inverted. It's like exactly inverted. It's like dollar for dollar inverted. So like, how the fuck, what is NVIDIA, like anti-Tesla? No, they're in the exact same space. They're both high risk growth stocks. Like, they're both like automation AI plays. I mean, the fact that you're just calling Tesla a car company to piss me off at this point. I know that's why. And so I shouldn't get so riled up about it, but like it does make me so angry. Obviously, what did Elon Musk say on the call? He said, the Tesla is already a robot. Like that is a robot. We are a robotics company. And what do we fill our robots with? Intelligence. They do it artificially. So like they train these models. Anyway, like it's an AI and robotics company. That's the clear play. And you could argue that's exactly what, not really, but like NVIDIA isn't very far from that. They're not very far from that. And so there's a giant shakeout happening right now. Basically what these, what should we call them? JAGs? Use It's Always Sunny slang. What these fucking JAGs want to do is shake everyone out of Tesla, spread as much fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD, across the markets and the, I don't know, like the general discourse, like whatever, like people are talking about Tesla. They basically want to make it seem like they're going to miss and do all these things. They had the best selling car last year. Like people are shitting on Tesla's quarter. They had in the world, it was the best selling car, not in America, not in Europe, not in emerging markets, the fucking world. The best, the number one sold car was a Model Y. How can that be a bad quarter? That's a banner fucking year. If you ask me, that's a banner fucking year. And so like they're just in the middle of a new cycle. And the thing that headshots, I'm sorry, Ford, and like all of you guys, but like the thing that just nukes those guys, they hopefully they're selling their stock or something, because these legacy autos are not long for this world. And the headshot is coming from Tesla, maybe mid next year, 2025 at the latest. And that's going to come in two forms. I mean, the real destructor comes in the second form, but the first form is just a consumer vehicle that's 25 grand and worth 75 grand of value. So like you're going to pay $25,000 for something that should cost 70. That's how much I had to pay for my, tech or whatever. But that's, you pay more in the early adopter phase and less as the price declines. And so it's their mass market vehicle. That's the game changer with Tesla. And so that is going to just be hilarious, because obviously if you can buy a Tesla for $25,000, that's as good as my car, and it will be. It'll probably be better in some ways, right? That's how technology works. If that can happen, everyone is going to do that. Everyone is going to do that. They're going to sell 1.2 cars for every one they can make. Like it's going to have like recursive demand. And so that's headshot. Like that's like but the real kill shot, like somehow if they could survive that, the real kill shot is two kill shots. One is when an air taxi, flying cars are real. If you didn't know, they've been real for a while, but they're about to be really real. When an air taxi costs 2 to 3 times what an Uber costs, which is like 1/10 what a flight costs, that is going to be a big game changer in mobility. I believe that. But how does that connect to Tesla? Well, yeah. So that I think will happen about the same time as automated taxis. And so you're going to like in the same year, you're going to have Ford developing a transmission. You're going to fill an engine with oil, dummies. Come on, that's dumb. You're going to put some red liquid in the transmission and then like have pistons firing dinosaur bones or whatever oil is, like dead vegetables. And you're going to light that shit on fire and it's going to blast a piston up and down. Is this the 1800s? Or are we building automatons or whatever? Like that's an archaic machine. That's bullshit. You shouldn't be doing that anymore. And so not only they're called internal combustion engines, it's combustion. Like that's inherently unsafe. So like not only is the internal combustion engine going the way of the dodo, they, as a general principle, like the electric vehicle driving experience is 1,000 times better. The latency in an EV is like milliseconds. There is no response time. Anyone who loves to drive would love to drive an EV and would count their whole life as somewhat wasted in all of the previous drives, because this new way of driving is even possible. Anyway, it doesn't matter. People are going to experience it and they're going to shiz their pants. And sorry, Ford. Sorry, guys. I mean, Toyota, like, maybe you guys can service Mexico or something. I'm not even dissing Mexico. I'm just saying maybe you can service anywhere where they're like a little bit behind in their tech. Go build better tech, Mexico. If you're offended by it, build something cool. Surprise the world. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do shit. So anyway, that's what I think is going on in the world of AI, mobility, and Tesla. Like the NVIDIA, I really don't want to take anything away from them, but could there be people over ordering because they feel like they're trying to get, it's like, oh, you got to lose weight. What are you going to buy, a treadmill? I don't know. That's a bad analogy, but like they might be buying things that they're not going to use yet. And so maybe they'll use them down the road. I don't know. That's all speculation, right? What I do know is that the price action of NVIDIA and Tesla, penny for penny, is inverted. So if you ask me, they're selling calls on Tesla, using those credits to buy up NVIDIA, and then they're going to flip, but not before they can margin call and shake out everyone possible. Like they're hoping that on the same day that there's a global crisis in whatever will be when Elon Musk's announces a share sale that he's going to buy Snapchat. Evan Spiegel's just like, fucking, I'm just going to cash in, whatever. I don't know. Sorry to name names, but like, I'm just saying, like, there could be a real reason why Tesla gets sold down, just like it did last year at this time, when I was also piling into it. How familiar is all this? Big difference is I understand how the short sellers work now. And yeah, like when the short sellers are in action, you got to sell every rip, and just cost average on both sides. And so how I'm kind of approaching Tesla is I'm just slowly accumulating. I mean, I'll never get my share target, that'll never happen. It would have to be like $30 a share for that to ever happen. So some people think it'll get there. Those people are called dummies who can't see the future. That's literally, their parents named them that. It was cruel and a little bit unusual, which is not something we normally support in this country. So yeah, guys, that's what I think is up. I think that the media is being paid. Here's what I want to know. Sidebar, side, thing. Who pays the bills on these news outlets? Why do they want these messages out? Like, why? I just want to know why. Like, I don't even care that they do it. I'm just curious. Like, why do you do that? Why do you have that narrative? Is it like, what? I can't see how that narrative is better than any other narrative. Anyway, whatever. They got their marching orders, the anchors do. But I do want to know who sets those and why. And maybe it's George Soros. Could be, right? Could be. What if we found out that guy's just like pure evil and he spent his entire life and all of his money being a supervillain, but he was actually a smart supervillain. And so he never did it in a way that it could be detected. And it was only at the end of his wretched life that we found everything. And then we destroyed his legacy. And now I don't mean to pick on George Soros. I'm sure he's a wonderful person who, pays his church tithing and taxes and does all the right things. So, yeah, there's like this narrative right now that Elon Musk is crazy because he smokes weed and he does too much drugs by people who don't even do drugs. You don't even do drugs and you're judging people who do drugs. That's like me judging an athlete. That's like me judging a politician. Like, I don't even fucking do that shit. I'm going to tell you how it is. The Tesla story right now is in an interesting phase. I have no idea how long this decline can go because I do believe we're going to be in a bit of a dearth of good news, partially because Mr. Musk has his tendencies, such as they are, to talk things down, but he didn't really do that in this last conference call. In fact, if you listen to him, he said that there's a chance that Tesla could be the most valuable company in the world, which is something that I cannot agree more with. It's just, okay, so here's the Tesla story. You guys are talking about how they're a car company. I know you don't even believe that. I know you're just saying that because you're dumb. Like, they're not a car company. That's like saying Apple is a phone company. They're not AT&T. Apple is not a phone company. Dummy. They're a platform. You can't see that? They're like a nation. They're Israel. I mean, they're bigger than Israel. I bet. Let's look up the GDP of Israel. I bet Apple's bigger. GDP Israel. 488 billion. Okay, well, you got 4 apples in there. Or you can fit 4 Israels in 1 apple. I don't know. What is it? 2 trillion? I think it might be 3 trillion. It might be 6. Market cap. Apple market cap 2.9 trillion. Oh my God. That's so crazy. And so, yeah, you can fit about 6 Israels in 1 apple if you want a little bit of perspective. So, yeah, saying that like Tesla is a car company, you're dumb. You're just a dumb person. I'm just, guys, I don't have a lot of time left. I just got to say it as it is. I got to call out dummies for being dummies, you know? I'm sorry if that makes you feel bad. Don't say stupid shit and I won't have to correct you. That's how it should work. So, yeah, the news and the media is misrepresenting Tesla. I'm not saying that he doesn't do drugs. I'm not saying that he's like, you know, the world's best leader. I'm just saying that Tesla is a manufacturing behemoth. They are a force to be reckoned with. You want to know who else is? Apple. Like, they just released this product video on Apple Vision on the manufacturing process. It's a miracle. Like, the intricacy, it actually, speaking of automatons, it does remind me of like that level of detail and painstaking coordination and connection. Anyway, so you got this, you got a new manufacturer on the scene. You got a new GE. You got a new, I don't know, who was really good at building shit back in the day. NASA? Not really. I mean, we love NASA, but they're not like the best at building things. They're great. I don't mean to diss NASA. Like James Webb, I'm just saying, like, they do the moon shots. They're not doing like, you know, like consumer vehicles type of stuff. They're doing things that you have like 5 redundancies on. Anyway, I don't know who a good example would be. But I do know that Tesla is not a car company. They're a robotics company. And their power is that they can just build shit really quickly. And so here's something nobody ever talks about in the Tesla story. The GigaPress. Here's something nobody ever talks about in the Tesla story. Optimus Prime, the AI Will Smith freaking iRobot that he's making real. Like, this is crazy shit that's happening. He's already got a human hand that has enough, you know, like articulable ability to crack an egg. And like, just think about that for about 5 seconds and tell me why it's impossible for a machine to ever crack an egg, right? So like, it's pretty hard to crack an egg unless you have all of the, you know, stuff that we built up over the millions of years, animals, I mean. And now we are recoding that into machines. Everything in here, we're coding it into the machines. We're getting pretty far. And so, I mean, LLMs is like really good evidence of that. But I think the real early evidence was really this deep learning. Because when you could see a spoon in a picture, you could recognize a spoon. That is intelligence. But it didn't capture my imagination until I could talk to it. And so, yeah, like, it is an AI world now, and AI is real, and it is going to get better. As soon as they give it persistent memory and it can learn in real time, it'll turn into a god. And that is just a matter of time. 1 second. So, yeah, like AI is real, and who is a bigger player in AI than the guy making the eyeballs? He's teaching them how to see. That's like the hardest thing. Vision, that is a challenging problem. I mean, language, vision, it's all hard. But like, still, these cars, it's not even like he taught it how to see. It drives like a ghost. It's really creepy. The new auto drive that they call nothing but nets, it's all just machine learning. It drives like there's somebody in your seat. I don't know how to explain it. It's very human, and that is creepy. And so, and it's only going to get more human. And so what that means is what I've always suspected and said many times about us is that like people really love to think that they're real fancy and that we're so much better than the animals. And like a man is not a monkey, or you're a fucking rat. You are mostly a banana. Genetically speaking, you're like 40% a banana. So like, what do you mean you're not a monkey? You definitely are. Like, you should be proud to be. We should be plugging Neuralinks into the monkeys, I'm sure we will, and waking them up. And so we can start talking to them and see what they have to say. That'll be very interesting. 25 years, I bet, based off of nothing. And so, but that's going to happen. We're obviously going to try to wake other animals up. We're not going to be the only ones. Now, here's what would be crazy. If we did plug our future cyborg bionics into the animals and there was nothing, to me, that's impossible. But then I actually would believe in God. If that happened, if we plug a Neuralink into an animal and it doesn't look exactly like a human, I'll believe in God. Yeah, because then I'll be like, okay, there is something different about humans. But right now, I don't think so. I think we're just monkeys. So, or not just, like, that's a great thing to be. What would you rather be? Opposable thumbs. Yeah, you're not only monkeys. You're like, you're not only quadrupeds that are bipedal. You harvest and take advantage of and even help grow technology, which is passed on through history. So like some guy took 2 sticks or a stone, bash them together, boom, you get fire. However they did it. Or like some guy fashions a wheel or a lever. Either way, you have a labor-saving device that's doing a ton of work for you. Could be pre-digesting food, could be lifting a rock off of a fallen companion or whatever. I don't know. Like the point is effort, free effort, like the cost decline in effort that has been happening for millions of years is about to get accelerated to the moon through this Optimus bot. Because if you really have a robot that can crack an egg, that's it. That's the end of the world. Like that is the end of the world. That is iRobot. And we're years away from it. This robot, I'm sorry to say to like DARPA, look, they just didn't have if anyone wants evidence that Tesla is a new manufacturing force that the world has not seen in a very, very long time, if ever, obviously they're doing things nobody's ever done before, but I can't say relative to the past, that's the relativity is what'll get you. So, but they're a manufacturing force today. Tesla is. They're a manufacturing force today. And the evidence that I think is irrefutable that they're leagues beyond any other player, including Apple, but definitely also not a car company. It's just hilarious. It's so dumb. You guys are so dumb for saying it. You're just a dumb person. Every time you say it, you should feel bad. I really am going to use all of my mental power to make sure that you feel bad every time you say it. And so Tesla, the manufacturing is going to, oh yeah. So like the direct evidence of that is the Tesla bot. Like they already made a humanoid robot that's more advanced than any in the world. And they did it in their spare time with like 1% focus. People have been working on that for 200 years. As soon as we made watches, we tried to build the Tesla bot. That was the first thing we did. After we made a watch, we tried to build the Tesla bot. They were a little early. And as the investors like to say, there's no difference between being early and being wrong. But they were wrong. They should have waited a couple hundred years for batteries. Now, theirs were cool because they could operate in a solar flare. But still, like the first thing after we started miniaturizing our mechanical tools and getting really sophisticated in the the size and elaboration of our inventions in terms of scale and size physically and intricacy and actually just like complexity, then and that was like best done in the form of watches. And you just got to like appreciate this about humans, you know, like people were walking around. There was a guidebook I saw once, and it was from London in like 1500s. And it was how you have to like wash your hand in the river or at least wipe it on your shirt before taking the hand of a stranger. They were saying you shouldn't because you wipe the shit out of your asshole with your fingers. That's what they were saying. And you shouldn't shake another person's hand. That had to be taught to people. All that work is paid for. We already did that. The London fire happened. You know, like all of the buildings today are in Japan are resistant to earthquakes. Like we paid that cost already in blood. Billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of gallons of blood was paid so that we could get a Tesla bot, but we got it almost. And so my evidence that everything I'm saying is both true and accurate is that the Tesla bot does exist. And in basically under a year, they went from like a seemingly joke prototype to something that is a little bit magical. And I understand that like there is a long and large gap between the current physical form and the end product, but like that's a software gap and we have AI. Nothing is insurmountable. If you ask me, the insurmountable part is done. The insurmountable part was making a hand with 14 degrees of freedom or whatever. It was cracking the egg. Now, maybe they had a human puppeting it, you know? I don't know about that. But if that machine could actually, through its learning, through its own nets, have detected the correct pressure to use when cracking an egg based off of its own experience, cracking eggs and, you know, cracking them open or whatever, however it learned, however that training happened into the fingertips and into the hand and into the fingers and into the hands and then into the central brain. All of that machine learning is what? Already more advanced than anything on the planet. And that's in under a year. So that's the evidence that they're not a car company and that everything I'm saying is true. Is that they're like an AI manufacturer and people are lying to average people. You should be buying Tesla stock right now. No, they could drop it to $90. There's a floor for Tesla for sure. But like, as long as there's a dearth of good news, which it could be a while, then they do have the ability to break these technical levels and count on the algorithms, which is why what they're doing is illegal in some countries, because it shouldn't work like that. It should be about like an investor who's exposed to the public markets shouldn't be subject and whim to manipulative market forces. And we have, you know, bodies like the SEC and FINRA. Look, I'm happy we even got the bodies. It's hard enough just to get the people in the room. So that's already an achievement, but it'd be nice if they actually did the job. That'd be nice. But, you know, it's not so bad that we even got a body. And so, yeah, what do I think is going to happen from here? I think they can't pump NVIDIA much higher. Maybe they can. I don't know. But like, you know, you value these things on earnings. Here's the problem with NVIDIA. If they pump it up this much, it's going to hurt when it comes down, because unless there is endless demand for AI chips, which there may well be, like there has to be some kind of a retracement. What I speculate, and entirely based off of speculation, is going to happen is that at some point when they've shaken out everyone they can shake out, through spreading all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which I've tried to do at times, right? Like when I wanted Bitcoin to go lower, I was spreading FUD. And so people do that. Like, but what's the point? Once they've shaken out as many weak hands as they possibly can, or really margin called everyone they can, is what they're trying to do, then that is when they'll flip it and they'll sell calls on NVIDIA for a premium. That's ridiculous. Oh, that premium, that's a juicy premium. I've rolled a couple calls and it's quite a premium. And so, yeah, obviously they're going to take that premium and they're going to deploy it into Tesla. It's just a matter of time. That's what I think. That's my speculation. So yeah, like Tesla, they had a great quarter. They had a great year. They're going to have a banner year after year after year because they're a new thing in culture or technology or whatever business, I guess. I don't know. Like we've not had a Tesla before. Now we have a Tesla. And so, that's going to change the world. It's going to change the world because, like, even if they were just a car company, you don't think there's police and military applications? You don't think that other countries would be interested in those? You don't think that they're going to continuously improve their manufacturing process? All of this stuff. Oh, wait. There's somebody talking. Hey, what's up? Hey. Peace, dude. I didn't know I had a visitor. I'm new at live streams. What is the point? Okay, I'm out, bro. You back down to 0 streams. If I was dab emoji. Oh no, I offended him. Well, yeah, like, when do I think the price will rise again? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. It's completely random. Like, if there was good news, obviously that could happen. You could see just the price getting low enough where you see interested buyers that have been on the sidelines and have reevaluated and start to deploy. When is the price going to go up? It doesn't matter when the price is going to go up because Tesla is, you're buying Apple for like $10, $20, you know, like it's going to 10x from here. It's going to 10x. Tesla over the next 15 years from here is going to 10x. It's going to 3x in like 2 years. And so anyway, that's what I think. So there's a couple of interesting things that I can say, which is like, I gotta pay attention to these chats. Oh, that's so funny. Reckon Tesla stock will rise again. Well, obviously it will. Yeah, like the stock is gonna go up. I think the question was, when will this decline end? It's not going to end until they shake out everyone they can. And if you want to see exactly what's happening right now, go back to when Tesla traded below $100 basically a year ago. They're going to hope that they can get a piece of bad geopolitical news combined with some bad company news combined with bad market news. And that is when they sell. That's when they sell the house to sell Tesla or whatever. And they break it down to the absolute bottom. Now, what do they do from there? I would think that they would then invert and then buy up. That's literally what I think is happening. I don't think that, because here's the thing I know about Tesla. I just know this because I've done this for a long time now. It's the most premium goes into Tesla every single day. We could verify. Let's verify it. Where'd all the premium go today? I know it was into Tesla, but let's just, still say it. Oh my God, I'm wrong. Oh, that's so crazy. Oh, I deserve it. That's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. It's the second. The first one is ET. I don't even know what that ticker is. So whatever it is weird. Entertainment Tonight. ET stock. What is that? Energy Transfer Protocol. I actually think that is a big company, but I don't know what that is. That's not a common ticker. So that's a weird event. Now 02 to 05. There's actually not a lot of premium in general. Kind of light volume. Wonder if I'm looking at this correctly, actually. Let me refresh. Make sure I have the latest data. That's it. Huh. So the most active flow was hedging a bunch of sold calls on ET. Tons of them, 100 million in total, it looks like. But then there was also a bunch of upside calls too. So, or something, because let's see, buy. Somebody's doing something. That's crazy. Anyway, that's so funny. I was wrong. It's the second one. But if I go back, let's see what on Fridays it was. I mean, obviously it's going to be Tesla. Oh my God, I'm wrong again. I'm so bad at this. It's Meta. That actually makes sense though, because that was also an outlier. Like that was because they announced a dividend for the first time in history. Obviously, they're going to get bought up. Like obviously. So that's also an outlier. Okay, let's go Thursday of last week. Now it's number one. All right, let's go Wednesday. It will also be number one. It is number one. Tuesday. It is number one. Okay, anyway, like one of these days it'll probably be NVIDIA. Monday. It's always Tesla. But that is funny that the last two weren't. And so good job in Meta on the dividend, and good job ET on somebody hedging or whatever, 100 million sold calls. So yeah, Tesla. They're not a car company. They are going to change the world, and their tech is better than anyone else's by a mile, and then double it, and then triple that. And then you're not even getting to the start line of where Tesla goes 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. So like everyone's fucked, like Ford is, whatever, that's what I think. I think they're going to deploy their money judiciously over time to supply the demand that is created from the incredible cost declines in their manufacturing process, which are intentional and very much a part of their business operations. And those will be reflected indefinitely forever, because every time they build a new product line and they move those units in like the Cybertruck, it's moving. Like I thought people might not like it. It's cool. It's just because it's cool, because bulletproof is, first of all, a really good idea. It's just like build it out of stainless steel. Yes, sir. That is the correct thing. You did the right thing. whoever, like, I don't know whose idea that was, or like if Mr. Musk had to fight to get that, through the finish line, however that happened, that was the correct thing. And stainless steel, a new grade of it, bulletproof. Yes. It's a weapon. It's a tool. It's a car. It's a robot is really what it is. It's Superman. No, like, yeah, Tesla's just, they're not a car company. That's just what they're building right now. If anything, they'd say they're an energy company. Like nobody even pays attention to their energy business. I only look at Optimus, their robot. But like, meanwhile, like, you should pray that the short sellers could cut it in half from here. You should pray, because if you've prepared well and you react properly, that's a great opportunity to accumulate. Now, I doubt they can, but maybe they can. I don't know. I really don't know. It is impossible to know. Nobody could know, but I doubt it. And so, yeah, I think that's about what I had for you guys. Just the whole point is they're definitely a different company than we've ever seen before. Like times by a lot, they're very different. And the products that they build are next generation. And so, like, you guys can say whatever you want. That is what I just said is the truth. And the market will value that. It will value that over time. And so I just think this is a short-term distortion. I really do think that I can't say it, but like, how would you know? But every day they're selling calls on Tesla. Let's just go do a little bit of research and see what they actually did. Let's look at their sold calls over the last, let's say a month. Actually, let's go back. Well, let's just say from the beginning of January 1st to now. Search Tesla calls sold. I already have it. Nice. So sold calls. Isolate calls. I know you can't see this, but whatever. Okay, so what is it by date today? In terms of premium. Oh yeah, we have a ton of premium. Let me sort by premium. Tons of sold calls on Tesla. So the most sold calls ever happened on the 8th. Oh my God, 16 million. Yeah, there is tons of selling still happening. That's crazy. Okay, let me just look at today. Let's see what happened today. 1.5 million, 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 1.4 million, 1.1 million, 1 million, 990K. I mean, this is crazy shit. They're selling the shit. What were their spot prices? They're selling it hard at 181 and 177. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is how they break these technical levels. So you could just see it right here, right here. They're selling it hard. All these are clustered around 115. In PM Eastern. And there's tons of premium, 10 million in sold calls. How much is it? Total 18 million. Yeah. But right here, there's like 10 is right here. 18 in total. That is a lot of sold calls. And so they're selling hard at 181.70 and just anything at 181, but they're also selling aggressive at 177, 176. And it's that psychological level, 175. And actually, we didn't actually dip. I know we didn't dip. We didn't dip far into 174. I had buy orders that never got filled. And so they did not break 175, but they may intend to, and they may just be gathering the capital so that they can mount that attack or whatever you would say. I plan to be a short seller one day, so I'm not even dissing what they do. I think it probably should be illegal, but until then, I will try to capitalize as they are. It's tricky business though. So yeah, like that's just the game, but we can definitely see that they're selling a ton of short calls. Let's look at it in terms of premium session by session. Okay, so they sold less than Friday by 1 million. That's not like crazy, but still a lot more than Thursday. I don't have any way to gauge this. And okay, so it's kind of hard to gauge. So it's pretty consistently above 10 million in sold calls every day. Yeah, except for one day had 3 million. So that might be something to watch. It would be interesting. What day was that? Because we should just look and see what the price. This is worthy research. We should see what happened to the price that day. That wasn't it. One more try and then I'll give up. That was it. Okay, let's see. So that was February 1st. What happened on February 1st? Price action on February 1st. Yeah, it was 191. Pushed up to 191. And it held. It held above 190. And then all the sold calls came in on the 2nd. So they didn't sell any on that day. But then on that Friday, I think that was also Fed Day or something. Then they had a massive 120 million. Okay, so they saved on that Thursday and deployed it double on that Friday. So that's how they do it. Yeah, like you got to imagine they got to charge up. to make these attacks. So they are selling they were aggressively selling 185 aggressively. Wow, almost all the premium is at 185, and they're all like 2025 calls. Holy shit, that is a lot. It's kind of a good idea. I should sell more calls. All right, well, maybe I will. So like, yeah, the Tesla story continues. I think it'll be a lot of as much FUD as they can make it, right? For as long as they can make it. But inevitably, what's my price target? The fucking moon, obviously. Stupid question.